Yeah.
Hello, I'm Gary. I'm your surprise guide for Catford.
Hi, I'm Barbara. I'm taking you through Ladywell and showing you Ladywell Fields. Hope you enjoy our quick tour.
Hi, I'm Enid and I'll be taking you to Lewisham. I hope you enjoy it. Lewisham used to be a lovely place.
Hello, my name is Alice and my friend Juliet will be taking me around Hilda Green.
Hello, I'm Pearl. I chose Forest Hill because I lived there 4 years.
Hi, my name is Rob and I will be taking you through Brockley.
My name's Maureen and I was responsible for the driving, editing and directing. And now, as if by pure magic, we're going to lift the car up so that we can start the tour in Sydenham.
I am Pearl and I'll be in charge for the next section of this Lewisham Tour. As you can see, we're just turning left into the Lewisham Saver Centre. And a conspicuous by its absence is the gasworks. After a public outcry, it finally came down in 2019. Now we have B&Q, Aldi and other shops in its place. And here we are at Sainsbury's Belgreen, which seems as if it has been here forever. Many of us still call it the Saver Centre. It did open as the Saver Centre in August 1995, but it has been officially just a Sainsbury's since 2008. With the magic of film, fast forward. Now for a quick run up Perry Rise and Perry Hill towards Forest Hill.
Yeah.
On the right is Woolston Road. And on the left you can just see Mayor Road. On the left we can see Forest Hill Station. This now heralds a part of Lewisham Borough where there isn't even a bank. Forest Hill had 5 banks and now there's not even one. They've all been taken away. Did you know that Forest Hill Station first opened for business on June the 5th, 1839? As we turn right into London Road, here on the left is a building that has seen some changes. It started life as the Capitol Cinema in 1929, then became the ABC Cinema in 1933, and it has hosted its fair share of variety shows and children's Saturday matinee performances over the years. And in 2001, it became a Witherspoon's pub and is called the Capitol again. Let's move on a bit. As we turn right into Honor Oak Road, you can just see the clock tower of the Horniman's Museum. Did you know that the Horniman's Museum and Gardens were first opened as the Surrey House Museum in 1890, while the Horniman family still lived there? We are not really driving this fast, but through the magic of film, we quickly find ourselves at the convent end of Honor Oak Road, and we are going to turn right. But just to the left of this junction is the site where Honor Oak Station was. Honor Oak Station closed in September 1954 and was replaced by flats. But we're turning right towards One Tree Hill. Did you know that One Tree Hill was once called Oak of Honor Wood? Thus called because legend has it that Queen Elizabeth I once used one of the trees there for shade. Just on the left down the road we find Honor Oak Park Station, which first opened its doors in December 1865. As we pass through Honor Oak Park's little shopping area, I remember the piano maker's shop at one end and the florist at the other. But now there seem to be more restaurants and eating establishments than anything else. This isn't dangerous driving. We have speeded up the film again, and we are now at Chudley Road, on our way down to Ladywell. I'm now handing you over to Barbara.
Who can remember the shops at the bottom of Adelaide Avenue? In the film, coming out of Chudley Road, you can see them just on the left behind the white car. Now they are flats. Now we come to Ladywell Tavern on the right hand side. The sign for this pub is very interesting. I don't know what you think it is, but look closely and you'll see it's actually a silhouette of a woman bending over the Ladywell, after which Ladywell village is named. Next to Ladywell Tavern, you've got Slough Place. This leads to the gatehouse for the Ladywell Lodge. We now have a nursery, a whole new housing estate, sheltered housing and a school on this wonderful old bit of parkland. Let's rush a couple of yards down the road. Turning into Mallions Road, on the left you now have a block of flats that used to be the station master's house. Later it was a garden centre and then pulled down for the flats. Let's speed up the film. As we go towards the end of Mallions Road, you end up in a park, Ladywell Fields. When you're turning around in the turning circle, do stop for a moment and have a look at the boundary marker on the right hand side. This was the boundary between London County and Kent. Here is a bit more rushing around. When we come out of Mallions Road, you can see the building work just on the left. That used to be a petrol station. Now it's going to be turned into shops. We think it might be a Sainsbury's, but we're never sure when developments happen who is going to be the final tenant.
You know that
We're now heading towards Ladywell railway station. This station has been used since the 1st of January 1857. 9 years later, they built a spur on the north side so that people coming up from Ladywell no longer had to go through Lewisham station. Trains have always terminated either at Charing Cross or Cannon Street. Over the railway bridge on the left we have a building that used to be an adhesives factory. Now it is a block of flats, and on the ground floor they have the Rivoli meeting room. On the right hand side we have the old Ladywell Baths. This is where everybody used to come from the whole area to have their weekly bath. It later became the Ladywell Play Tower, later becoming a gym. It's been derelict for about 20 years now, and there's planning permission to turn it into a cinema. Next we have the Coroner's Court on the right. At the bottom of Ladywell Road, just before it meets the road between Lewisham and Catford, on the right hand side there used to be Lewisham House. The whole area of Lewisham House was demolished to make room for the Ladywell Baths, the police station, the Coroner's Court and a fire station. In later years the fire station moved across the road and the old fire station turned into various businesses. There is one more building to mention here, and the one that was superseded, with the colourful vision we see opposite us. Its predecessor, the Ladywell Leisure Centre, was built in the 1960s. But was replaced and disappeared again in 2014. Now we have the prefabricated Ladywell Place. With a bit of magic, we're going to pick up the car and put it down in another part of Lewisham.
Hello, I'm Juliet, and I'm your guide for a while. Just in case you don't recognize it, we are in Heather Green Lane at the moment. On the right, you see the Good Hope Cafe, which is there in memory of Jimmy Mizzen, who was stabbed and bled to death at the age of 16. His parents started a charity in his memory, and the cafe was part of it. The last building on the right has had many uses. Originally it was a cinema, so it was very strange walking into a shop and going up and down on different levels. It was a chandler selling sailing boats. For the high ceiling was excellent for the tall mats. Later it became a soft play area for children. Then at one stage it was a carpet shop, and here you see it today. This is the building that used to be Heather Green Hospital, and it was opened in 1897 for the treatment of infectious diseases such as scarlet fever, diphtheria. It was derelict for a length of time. It was pulled down to flats. This is going to be one of the quickest bits of driving to have ever experienced. If you blink, you will miss the best part of Heather Green Lane and Verdant Lane. and the street leading up to our next port of call. Now we come up to the Darnham Estate, which is famous for prefab. Built for temporary housing after the war, which has lasted over 60 years. As we drive through the Excalibur estate, apart from the cars, you could be mistaken for thinking that time has stood still since the end of the last World War.
Yeah.
We are looking at the largest collection of prefab left in the whole of UK. And as we speed along, we make our way back to Verdant Lane and turn right. At this speed, it will not be long before we turn right to Bromley Road and Darnham proper. One of the areas in Lewisham Borough where there is now not even one bank left.
You know that.
We are going to perform an even bigger bit of film magic as we whiz our way . Let me introduce you to Rob, who will guide us through Brockley.
Another building of note is the Rivoli Ballroom, which is still in use and intact. It has been part of Brockley's heritage since 1913. It is one of the last 1950s style ballrooms and was the backdrop for the 1983 Elton John's video for the song. I guess that's why they call it the Blues. you will see, opposite the ballroom, yet another station. This station is quite young in comparison with many of its neighbours. Crofton Park Station was not established until 1892, a bit of a late developer. On the right, you can see the Brockley Deck Public House. Although it hasn't always been called that. It was previously the Cricket Billet in the 18th century, and it was also called the Castle at one time. The internet tells it was once the haunt of many of highwaymen, including Dick Turpin. There is now also a theatre venue too. Now we are on our way back through Stondon Park and past its junction with Honor Oak Park, which we crossed in the other direction the last time we encountered it. We're speeding up the film again. There's nothing much to see here. Turn left into Stansted Road, the same Stansted Road, which is the home of our production base. Speeding up the film. On the right you can see the large white house known as Stansted Lodge. With its origins deeply rooted in the 17th century, it was home to many families, and then during World War II served as a school, before finally becoming a Derby and Joan club on the 30th of April 1949. It finally became the Lewisham Elders Resource Centre that we know today in 2002. Rushing down the road. And now, as we see what Catford has to offer, Gary will be our guide.
Now we are about to pass Catford Station, which, if you look left, is hidden on the corner of Ravensbourne Park. The new housing complex you can see on the left used to be Catford Greyhound Stadium. It opened in 1932 and was a source of entertainment for people from all walks of life. It closed during World War II, and following a lot of controversy, it finally closed on November the 6th, 2003. It gave way to the 588 new flats we can see today. And Catford Bridge Station is a little further over the hill. The two stations opened their doors in 1892 and 1857 respectively. In front of us is Lewisham Town Hall and the adjoining Broadway Theatre. On our left, as the years have gone by, various additions have been made to this building, but the original Lewisham Town Hall Civic Suite was built in and was officially opened by the then Duke of York on the 22nd of June 1932. We can see Lawrence House on our right, which was built on the site of the original St Lawrence Church, founded in 1867 and demolished in 1963. The Lawrence House that we see today was opened in 1992 and until recently housed Catford Library, many council offices and some council housing. Although this is a relatively new building, it is due to be demolished as part of the regeneration of the Catford Centre.
You know that.
Another bit of street paraphernalia that we often miss is the blue Wrigley statue on the one-way system. It has been now since 2006 and is called Waterline. As we go around the one-way system at Catford, we can't help but see the shopping island, which is home to McDonald's and Lidl's, and remember Catford College of Commerce, which was demolished to make room for the shops in the mid-1970s. We need to spare a thought for the Catford College that once stood on this site and the 600 flats that are scheduled to replace what we can see today. We spoke about Lawrence House recently, and on the left you can see the building that was built to replace the original church, which was on the Lawrence House site just up the road. It was built in 1968. Before we get to Bromley, let's turn the car around again. The Catford Cat has been there since 1974, and after a lot of will it, won't it discussions, it will remain for now. Enid's next. She'll be telling you about Lewisham.
The site where Lewisham Hospital was given to the borough for the relief of the poor and was a workhouse in the 17th century. And by 1865, it was reported to be functioning as a hospital. It formally became a hospital in 1894. We also have to mention the 2013 demonstration that kept it open and its choir's 2015 #1 Christmas hit singles. Next to the hospital is the site where many people have tied the knot over the years, the registry office, and we cannot forget to mention the original Lewisham Library, which moved down the road in the 1990s. And as we hurry along the road, we can see the new Lewisham Library on the right. It was the BT telephone exchange where people did the jobs, now automated. The structure on the roundabout opposite Lewisham Library is called the Ridgeway and has been there since 2000. But do you remember the sumo wrestlers? We had to go round the back of the shopping centre, but can you remember life before 1977 when the Riverdale Centre was built? Before the Riverdale, Cheeseman was the first department store. Cheeseman's was opened in September 1884 by a couple of brothers, Frank and Harry. It was originally a draper's shop, It became the Army and Navy store in 1983. Now it's the biggest police station in Europe. As we travel around the back of the Riverdale Centre through Mosworth Street, you will see the result of the Lewisham Gateway development. These towering buildings, which looms over us as we travel towards them. You will remember the roundabout they replaced. Just to the right is that big police station I mentioned, and further out of sight other buildings lost are the Rex Cinema, which becomes Studio 6 and 7, the Odeon Cinema, where for 2 nights only in 1963 the Beatles were top of the bill, the overhead footbridge that spanned the High Street linking the Riverdale and Cheesemans. For many it was an experience, whether you were on the outside looking up at it or inside looking out. We can't get into the Riverdale Centre or anywhere near it because it's all pedestrianised. But I wonder if anyone remembers its central lift when back in the day, on the hour, every hour, these characters would make their presence known. The only constant in this area is the clock tower, which can be recognized in all photographs of the whole area. Well, before we get lost in Blackheath or Greenwich, let's turn the car around so we can finish where we started.
It's a job to remember what it used to be like.
I've learnt so much more about the area since the film was made. Too much to include.
Watch out and see what's coming to Lewisham next. Lewisham has changed so much, sometimes you can hardly recognize it, but it's still a lovely place.
One thing I've learned is that acting is not easy.
Codger Productions tried to do New Cross, Deptford, Evelyn, Pepys, Bellingham. There just wasn't enough time.
Brockley is a quite trendy area now. Buildings go up, buildings come down, but I'd never noticed sometimes.
I'm responsible for the bad driving and dirty windscreen.